show, I tend to interview phenomenal people doing great works. And today, I have a wonderful guest by the name of Malik Muhammad. Mentor, author, motivational speaker. I'm going to let you hear what he has to say on our show. Hey, Malik Muhammad, how are you doing, my brother?
Kwame, it's really good to be here with you. Thank you so much for the opportunity. An honor to be here with you and the viewers.
Hey, listen, it's always a pleasure to have you,
Likewise,
to having been
likewise.
in space. Just to talk about who's Malik. You know, why do we need to know about Malik? You know, and I know personally
Yes.
that you do great works.
Thank you. I
You know,
appreciate it.
globally,
I appreciate
not just in the UK, back in the Caribbean, back in the Middle East, all over.
Indeed.
But I want the viewers to hear from you. What do you do? Who is Malik?
Well, the thing is, Kwame, as you know, all of us have certain gifts. And I've been blessed to realize that at this time in my life now, I have used all of my life experiences in law, in finance, in community work, etc. And now I describe myself as a self-empowerment specialist.
Self-empowerment
Right.
specialist. Self-empowerment specialist.
Indeed. And what I do basically is I help motivate and inspire people
Wow.
to achieve their goals in a specified time.
Wow.
And this is simply done by what I call the
Yes.
empowerment mastery system.
Say that again.
Right? The empowerment mastery system.
Empowerment mastery
Mastery
system. Now, if that doesn't ring, and if that doesn't bring something you want to learn about, here's a man who's going to tell us all about it.
Yeah, and the thing is this, Kwame, as I mentioned earlier, we all have gifts.
Wonderful.
And it's therefore important for us to be authentic in our expressions.
Yes,
And so, as a young child growing up in Jamaica, I realized that I enjoyed speaking.
Yes.
And my famous and my great and my most wonderful teacher, Miss Hilton,
Right.
she reminded me at the tender age of 10
Yes.
that my gift was to articulate.
Wow. Stick a pin. And when we say stick a pin in the Jamaican term, that means hold on a
Yes.
minute. Let's explore that a bit more. Let's pause. Let's explore that just a bit more. So tell us about your background being in Jamaica, growing up in Jamaica. What was that like? You know, so that our viewers can get a feel of how that has empowered you to be who you are today.
The resilience, the love, and the determination of the Jamaican people
Yes.
has been a vital part of my existence.
Wow.
Growing up in the rural area of Trelawney, the same area incidentally as you said, right? What it gave me was an appreciation
Yes.
for the gifts that I have.
Wow.
It made me value community
Yes.
and understand that irrespective of where I go in the world,
Yes.
now I travel internationally giving workshops, talks, etc.
Yes.
Wherever I go, I always remember my duty
Yes.
to my country.
Wonderful.
And so from that nationalist perspective, it
Yes.
also gives me the spiritual base
Wow.
to be able to appreciate
Yes.
that my gifts are loans to me
Yes.
in this lifetime.
Wow.
You know?
And exploring the school, you said education. Education had a focal part in terms of all of that. How was your schooling in terms of what you learned at school, contributing to who you are today, and the teacher that you mentioned?
Yes, the extracurricular activities.
Yes.
My involvement in speech and drama.
Wow.
My
Yes.
involvement in the debating society
Yeah.
at Monroe College. What it made me appreciate was that using my gifts, when nurtured in the right environment, with the correct support
Yes.
and love of certain
Yes,
persons,
yes.
because none of us are self-made, Kwame.
Yes. True.
Right?
Yeah.
You know, as we share over the years,
Yes.
you know that wherever we are now,
Yes.
we're a culmination of many persons.
True.
The sacrifice of grandmothers, fathers, mothers,
Yes,
etc.
that is so true. And funny enough, in terms of, and when I was growing up in Jamaica, it's
Yes.
the same thing. The contribution of school, and
Absolutely.
we had some phenomenal teachers
Yes.
who contributed to who we are today. And like you, one thing we always say about Jamaicans in school is that we always love our schooling experience.
Love.
Always love our schooling experience because it's if I could go back
Yes.
and live it again,
Yes,
believe
you would.
me.
I understand.
Oh,
I agree with you. I agree with you.
I'm there.
100%. I agree.
You know,
I agree with you.
it's so, you know, so it's great to see how we have become,
Yes.
and who we have become,
Indeed.
in terms of, like I know that you're an author of
Yes.
your book, which we'll talk about in a little while. I'm an author too, in terms of what I do in entrepreneur,
course, that's how we do.
and it's phenomenal how that growing up, how that molding,
Yes.
has created us to be who we are today.
Yes. And in addition to that, the social consciousness.
Yes.
Because I believe it's important to give back.
Yeah.
That principle of Sankofa.
Yes.
We are here because we stand on the shoulders of giants.
Of course.
And so in giving back, it's absolutely important. Pay it forward
Yes.
and give it back.
Okay.
And so being here with you and the viewers right now for me is it's a very empowering experience.
Beautiful.
And I'm totally enjoying it.
Good. Fast forward.
Yes.
We're going to fast forward now. From your Jamaican experience
Yes.
to what was it like when you come a foreign?
Yes.
That's what we call it. Come to foreign now.
Yes.
We went to another country. What was that experience like in terms of, even though we know the molding and the grounding that we had growing up and that movement, coming to a new culture,
Yes.
the culture shock and everything else that brought, how was that experience?
The first time I saw snow in that December, I cried. Because there was a sense of loss
Yes.
and displacement
Yes.
that comes with, even though I left voluntarily,
Yes.
there was a sense of loss
Yeah.
for my homeland.
Yes.
And Kwame, if I reflect, till this day,
Yeah.
there's still that sense of loss
Yes.
and pain.
Yeah, yes.
What I have done, however, is learn to reframe that.
Yes. Okay.
And to see the opportunity
Yeah.
in the pain, if you will.
I hear that. Yes.
And so by reframing it, I therefore accept this is where I am at present.
Right.
And even though I travel globally, there hasn't been a day that I haven't woken up and thought of Jamaica, those 4,441 square miles. Because that is the place.
I don't think people don't understand. People don't understand. Tell me how big Jamaica is again, please.
Yes, well, 4,441 square miles.
There you go.
Right?
Tell him again.
4,441 square miles. Give or take a few, bearing in mind that land is being taken away now to build hotels. But it's another issue.
And I must admit,
know?
that specifics I don't have. But I just love Jamaica.
Absolutely. And the thing is, I guess, for listeners and viewers globally, wherever you come from,
Yes.
you ought to be proud.
Yeah.
Because that is the place that shapes your ability to see the world.
Yes.
So for me, having that focus from Jamaica has given me the opportunity to travel to the UAE, where I do many workshops, right, all over the Caribbean, all over Europe. However, the authentic voice within me comes out of that Jamaican experience.
Yes.
And what I would share also, Kwame, is that it's so important for us as human beings to always value where we came from.
Definitely. And it's
Value that. Be proud of it.
You know what's interesting is that even though you're doing your works, and we do our works,
Indeed.
subconsciously we're brand Jamaica.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? We're brand
Absolutely.
Jamaica. We're the ones who basically are out there doing what we're doing, uplifting a positive light of Jamaica and Jamaicans in the diaspora right across the world.
Indeed.
So you going to the UAE to talk about that. Again, I imagine you had one culture shock coming here.
Yes.
And then you had another culture shock going to the Middle East. So
what I found was that the UAE is predominantly a Muslim area. And all of the 7 countries that make up the UAE have various expressions of Islamic culture.
Right.
And so, being culturally sensitive,
Yes.
I was very cognizant of certain rituals and mannerisms and
Yes.
basic things that you would take for granted living in the West that are different in the East.
Right.
However, because of the diversity and the level of mutuality that existed within my Jamaican environment, because as you know, our motto is out of many one. And so in a very subconscious way, I was already au fait with many of the ways you could appreciate diversity. So going to the UAE to work, I simply read up about the way the area was formed, right? Bearing in mind the cultural sensitivities. And I simply put myself in there authentically.
Right.
Not trying to be other than I am.
Yeah, of course.
Because being proud of how I am and who I am, oftentimes there's no need to go in shouting and screaming and making a lot of noise.
Yeah.
Simply being yourself is sufficient.
Yeah, and
Just
again,
being
you know, it's interesting because we're nomadic. As a people, Jamaicans are
Yes,
nomadic. We
we
go
travel a
everywhere.
lot.
You know,
That
we
is
travel
true.
a lot.
That is true.
And it's interesting to hear when you're talking about you did your research because we hear the stories of a lot of people getting into trouble because of the cultural norms
That is
and
true.
not understanding the cultural norms.
Yes.
You know,
Yes.
and so even that, you know, and coming from a Jamaican background where we have that diversity. Being able to embrace it and then go somewhere else, like I said, not once but twice, you know, that's great. It's
Yeah,
awesome.
and the other reason why I feel so strongly about it is that often in the media, Jamaica is portrayed
Yes.
as the land of reggae music, marijuana, running,
Definitely.
and having a good time.
Yeah, yeah.
There is much more to us.
Definitely.
But I guess in some areas of the world, it is much more convenient to portray one aspect.
Yes, of course.
Right? That is an aspect, but not the totality of our experience.
Exactly.
You know, we have scientists, we have lawyers, we have doctors, we have pilots,
Yeah.
we have the range of cultural expression as well.
right.
And so for me, there is a natural pride.
Of course. And same here.
There's a
and
natural
we have
pride.
speakers.
Indeed,
You know, we have
indeed,
speakers.
indeed.
Now, your book.
Yes.
Talk about your book journey, because
Yes, like your good self, I'm sure now we can empathize now in a very personal way on this, because you're a fantastic writer. I've read many of your books,
Thank
and
you.
I appreciate your work
Thank
and
you.
the way you articulate
Thank you.
your unique experiences.
Thank you.
Empower Yourself to Succeed is currently available in the United Kingdom via Foyles. Foyles is the longest independent
Yes, it is.
bookshop in Europe.
Yes, it is.
And Empower Yourself to Succeed is a book that I wrote over a 10-month period.
Okay.
And it was in many ways to give a tangible expression of my expertise. Within Empower Yourself to Succeed, it's based on what I call the 8 principles of self-empowerment,
Wow.
which make up the Empowerment Mastery System.
Ah,
And these 8 principles were formulated and coined
Yes.
based on my research over 2 years
Okay.
of various successful people in all walks of life to understand what is it about these persons that allows them to be able to be gods in their field,
right.
to rise above the crowd, the plethora of the noise, and be able to give their voice life in real time. And so mathematically, I formed a graph. And what I realized was there were certain traits
Okay.
that they all had in common.
Right.
I then coined and was blessed to create and be the vehicle through which the 8 principles of self-empowerment came about.
Wow.
And that is the basis of my workshops, of my talks, etc.
Wow. And what's also interesting is that there's a theme, you know,
Yes.
the Jamaican experience, Jamaican teachings,
Yes.
Jamaican groundings
Yes.
has filtered this way right up to you having your book. You know, because when we're younger, as you know, we're empowered to write.
Yes.
You know, and so I'm just seeing
Express.
you know, and to express.
Yeah.
And I just see
Yeah.
the theme coming right up. So where we're talking about how Jamaica has given us wholly this who we are today. There's the Jamaican theme running right through.
And the thing is, I want to also share with your viewers that lest they think that this is an ode to Jamaica or part of the Jamaica Tourist Board promotional interview. That is not the case. It just so happens that we have a common ground here.
Exactly,
And very much like
exactly.
mathematics.
Exactly.
If x plus
Yeah,
y
that's right,
equals
that's right.
35
Yeah.
and x is
Yeah,
5
yeah.
and 35 is the answer, then y must be 7, right? Because 7 5 is 35.
Yes.
So in this case,
Yes,
this is our
yes.
highest common denominator.
Definitely,
But the
definitely,
principle,
definitely,
however,
definitely.
is that wherever you come from in the world,
Yes.
irrespective of your hue,
True.
your color, your class, your race, your sexual affiliation, your religious connotations, whoever you are as a human being,
Yes.
look within
Yeah, exactly.
and be proud of where you came from whence you came. That
Definitely.
is the point here.
Definitely. Without that, I couldn't agree with you more.
Absolutely.
And Malik, like I said, is a phenomenal speaker, as you all can hear. So Malik,
Yes.
where are you today? What are you doing tomorrow? You know, what does the world have to offer you, or what do you want? What are you grabbing from the world, I should say? What are you going to take and move forward in terms of empowering people? What is it that Malik's going to be doing from now going henceforth?
Well, right now, Kwame, it's about being fully present. I strive to practice that in my daily life, and I have certain rituals that I do because in order to master your craft, you must respect and love what you do.
Definitely.
It's not just about having a gift. You have to work effectively, not hard. Not hard. You must work effectively because you and I can be here now. And I can be pushing on you like this. And if you're not moving, I'm working hard.
Yes.
But there's no progress.
Yes.
Until you move.
Definitely.
Until we see where that force and motion presents and have a result, then nothing has happened. So I'm working effectively just to be fully present. I have a few workshops coming up now in the UAE again.
Okay, wonderful.
Right? And also some work, all things being equal, at the end of this year,
Yes.
right down in Malaysia.
Okay, awesome.
And in between that, I do a lot of after dinner speeches, a lot of talks, a lot of workshops, going to schools, going to prisons, etc. And it's really about, yes, pushing my brand, but more importantly, developing certain positive relationships.
Definitely.
Because as you know in business, it's all about the relationships
Yes, it is.
and
Yes,
joint
it is.
ventures.
Yes, it
We
is.
just have to be mindful about whom and be very discerning about where and the timing that we work.
Wonderful. And that's interesting. It's interesting. So are there any collaborations that you're going to be doing with people who are like-minded like yourself? Any joint venture that you said? Any more works and, you know?
Yes, I mean, I have a conference coming up in around September
Right.
of this year in the UK. It's
Okay.
tentatively for September, where I'll be bringing together some of the top inspirational and empowerment persons in the United Kingdom.
Right, okay.
In order to give a platform.
Yes.
What we're looking to do is to create a whole different paradigm
Yes.
in this industry of ours, whereby it's not simply about someone going up there like myself
Yes.
and sharing with you my view of the world, right?
Yeah.
There is
Okay, love
more
it.
to be derived
Yes.
from interdependence
Definitely.
rather than independence.
Definitely, yes.
And so by bringing persons together of like mind on a common goal from different perspectives
Okay.
on the same issue,
Yes.
it gives a unique expression and one that will be positive for everyone who
Wonderful,
attends.
wonderful. That's
You know?
that's good to hear because there's workshops that I do, as you know,
Yes.
where we do the same sort of theme that we do.
Yes.
We explore
Yes.
people's inner self to let them manifest that in their outer self.
Indeed.
So that is phenomenal. That's great. That's great to hear. That's wonderful. So and it's going to happen in September.
Yes.
How will people know about it? How will people get how will people understand?
Well, very soon on my Facebook page, where I'm simply down there as Malik Muhammad, right? Also available on Instagram, Malik Muhammad 8, the number 8, which is the 8 principles of empowerment.
Yes, it is.
And
Infinity,
that-
right? Infinity.
Definitely, oh yes, absolutely. Infinity, there you go, right? And you can also get me on Twitter, where I am there under the hashtag of @ThoughtExchange.
Wow. Okay.
Right? And I also want to give something to your viewers because, you know, you have to give in order to receive. Right?
There they are.
So
Talk to
in
them, talk
terms
to
of viewers, right, this is for you. 3 tips I want to share with you just now as we're having this wonderful discussion, and thank you for being a part of this experience with Kwame and myself. Just 3 basic things for you to think about, 3 tools, 3 tips. It's called IOU. Yes, you've heard of the term IOU,
Yes.
right? Say this to yourself. Write it down.
Wow.
Put it on a mirror because you have to go into the subliminal realm very often in order to make things real. So invest in yourself.
Wow. Invest in yourself.
Right? Whether online, whether at university, whether speaking with your grandmother, speaking with a professional who knows what they're doing, spending time in prayer or meditation,
That's right.
invest in yourself.
And you know the funny thing is, to elaborate, is that today there's no excuse.
None whatsoever.
Because everything we need
None.
in order for that is online. Everything,
Yes.
anything you want
Yes.
is online. Everything that you just said in terms of investing for ourselves in yourself is available.
The O stands for one thing at a time.
One thing
One
at
thing
a
at a
time.
Right? One thing at a time. Right?
Time.
Going back to our native and beautiful and wonderful and powerful and diligent and Jamaica.
What more can you say?
My grandmother often said to me,
Yes.
one cocoa, full basket.
baskets. Yes, sir.
In other words, if one is blessed to have a collection of oranges scattered in a field,
When was the OTT apple?
I want to make it universally applicable. So you have access to oranges or apples or fruits.
Yes.
If you collect them, viewer, And you then put one in a basket.
Yes.
If you continue over a period of time, the basket will be full.
Definitely. Yes.
And so, one thing at a time. Avoid distractions.
Yes.
And the final thing, which is the U. You with me so far, viewers? I-O. Now wait for the U. Do you have a pen or pencil or your notepad? Okay. The U stands for understand the business of your business. Now listen, it's fine to work for somebody else. There's nothing wrong with that. What I am suggesting, however, is that there is more to you than just being a mother, a father, a nurse, a doctor, a son, a worker. There is something inside of you that you know you have always wanted to do. I'm suggesting here with Kwame that you understand the business of your business.
Yes.
Because if you don't do that, what happens is it becomes a hobby.
Definitely.
And you ought to be monetized and financially rewarded for your gift.
And
there's no harm in that.
And I couldn't say that in better myself. Definitely.
Value yourself.
Understanding yourself, understanding who you are, understanding what you have to bring to the world.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And many people don't. Many people tend to get caught up in the 9 to 5. Get caught up in such a way that they're lost in the 9 to 5. Or anything that they're doing, and they feel that there's nothing else they can do. Or they feel there's something that they have innate that is within them that they want to explore, but they don't know how. And they may not have the confidence or the self-esteem, and that's where empowerment comes in.
No, absolutely.
And it's a matter of just taking a step forward. Because we have been dumbed down.
That's right. That's right, Kwame.
Through various means, whether it's through what we heard at school, what we come to believe through society means in terms of the media, whatever it is. We have been dumbed down, so we have lost ourselves in that regard. So understanding yourself is so important, and understanding, like you said, the business of yourself.
Yeah, and you see, the beautiful thing about it, is that everything that we do boils down to the whole issue around self-confidence.
Yes, it is. Yes, it does.
Kwame, I have heard some brilliant people sing in the shower.
Well, like that. So much shower you take with people?
True. For media purposes, let me reframe that. Then you see self-empowerment specialist says he has taken showers with many people. Right now, let me reframe that. I have heard of persons who have said they can sing well and that they sing in the shower.
Yeah, true, like writing too, yes. Yeah.
But Kwame, if you have never taken the opportunity to go on even using an app and create a demo, the world will never know or hear of it.
Definitely.
Right?
Definitely, yes.
And that's why I wrote the book. This is why you do what you do, why I do what I do.
Yes.
When you are blessed and when you appreciate and value, Kwame, what you do and the gift you have,
definitely,
it is such a beautiful experience.
I agree.
And when you start to walk through your blessing and appreciate and value the gift you have, because if you sing and I sing, there is no competition, right? Because you are unique, because the XY chromosome that came through to make you in this world meant that you were born a winner. And I was born a winner with certain gifts and attributes.
Definitely.
So the way you sing is not the way I sing.
Definitely.
So there is no competition. So there is no need for jealousy or disharmony.
That's right.
When we share what we have together, we achieve much more. And one of my favorite quotes is from Stephen R. Covey, where he says, and I quote, "Interdependence is a higher value than independence."
Wow. Say that again.
Interdependence is a higher value than independence.
Wow.
Allow me to elaborate, if I may.
I would love to.
Another time. Take it further.
Listen, this is like, Malik Mohammed.
For more.
You know what I mean?
For more.
I'm enthralled, and we will have him back.
No, absolutely.
And we'll explore
some
more in terms of going deeper into what he's saying, and we'll have a different session, exploring the mind, exploring motivation, all of that. Malik.
Kwame, listen, the pleasure is mine. Right, the honor is mine. I want to thank you and the production team.
Thank you.
Because the thing is, we're in it together.
Yes.
Right, and it's been a thoroughly wonderful, uplifting experience for me being here with you. Man.
Thank you.
Seriously.
How can people get up and contact you again? Let's hear it again. Let's hear it again. How can people contact you?
Yes, viewers. On Facebook, Malik Mohammed. Twitter, @ThoughtExchange. Instagram, Malik Mohammed 8. That's it.
There you go.
Thank you for being with us.
Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, viewer. Thank you. Malik Mohammed was here today on Kwame's show. Great brother, great friend, doing phenomenal work, doing magnificent work. And, what more can I say? Until we meet again. Thank you.
Thank you.